Hey everybody, what's up? How you doing? I'm Jez. Are you there?
Hello, hello.
Okay, I just want to make sure. It's so weird with the way the production is right now. I just want to make sure I didn't lose you or any of that stuff.
It is I.
Ooh. Hello everybody. Yeah. All right, they're like counting. There's so much going on that I'm not used to. Okay. All right, we're back. Hey everybody, what's up? It's me. It's Professor Broman. This is Ask Broman episode 98. I can't believe we've done 98 of these. And we have an incredible guest today. If you're new to the podcast, this is Ask Broman. I bring on guests, we talk about stuff, and then you ask us questions about said stuff. Sometimes I know about it and sometimes I don't, and that's the way it works. I'm going to scratch my nose, and then we're going to get started. Today's guest, as I said earlier, is Jez, YouTuber and content creator extraordinaire, hailing from Australia originally. Yeah.
Recently relocated to the US.
Recently relocated. Jez has been a mainstay of YouTube content. If you are part of the Destiny community, you probably recognize his name, and if you don't recognize his name, you probably recognize the In a Nutshell videos.
Oh my god, Coke Gaming!
Oh my god, Coke Gaming! You probably know Jez's In a Nutshell videos, which is actually Jez's YouTube. That's the first time I heard of you. I went out to Bungie to do a House of Wolves reveal, and during that period of time, you were taking the reveal streams and cutting them up into comedic blooper reels. And the first time I saw your video of me, and I think we've talked about this before, I was like pretty convinced you hated me.
Right. Yeah. I didn't quite nail the tone in hindsight. And comedy is hard, and we live and we learn.
Well, you see, the thing is, I go back and look at it, and I don't feel that way anymore. I think it was because that was the whole time when Reddit was like out for my blood.
Right.
Because everyone who went to the reveal stream was like, Reddit was out for their blood for like the next week. Like, Corey was disrespectful for going, "No raid," which is like everyone's favorite moment. And then I forget what they were mad about. Triple didn't talk enough after Corey talked too much, and then I was loud. So
yeah,
those were the things.
That's Reddit.
Those were all of the things that killed Destiny.
And I can't believe Destiny's stayed dead ever since.
It stayed dead. All three of us, we content creators ruin everything. Anyway, holy shit. So usually when we do this, I like to give our guests the floor because I think there's always a lot to be learned about somebody's story, how they got started and interested in making content and doing what they do. So like, I'd love to hear your path that kind of like brought you to where you're at now, and then we'll get into more specifics after that.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And like I said, just as a content overview, I have 2 pages of hardcore notes, the best value I could possibly bring of how I think I made it and how I've seen others make it on YouTube.
Second. Were we not recording the audio?
Huh?
Well, you're going to have to hang on 1 second, Jez. Start recording, okay, please. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask Broman episode 98. This is the beginning of the show, and nothing happened earlier at all. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, we can pull the audio out and make this less awkward. Our guest today, who I have already complimented copiously, is Jez. He's incredible. The first time I met Jez was during his first YouTube video. It's a YouTube video of his that I saw, which was a hilarious edit of me being a buffoon at the Bungie reveal. Jez is a very accomplished YouTuber. You know him if you have seen any of his In a Nutshell stuff. You're probably a fan of his, even if you don't know his name. So he's joining us today. He's incredible. He's originally hailing from Australia, recently relocated to the United States, and yeah. So if this intro sounds awkward, chat, it's because somebody wasn't recording right when we started the show. Anyway,
imagine not recording the audio to a podcast. Is there anything else?
It happens.
So anyway, great to be here, guys.
Yeah.
Intro number 2, feeling even better the second time. It's a real honor. I'm a huge fan of Broman. I love the podcast. I recommend it literally every chance I get when people come into my Twitch chat and ask me for tips. I say, go and watch this podcast.
Thank you.
And here we are. We're gaming. Thank you, Coke Gaming, for sponsoring.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, Coke Gaming. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna start off like we usually do. Jez is gonna walk us through his path from getting started and getting interested to stuff, getting interested in making content to where we're at right now, and then we'll take your questions and go from there.
Amazing. And just to qualify, in case someone's listening and they're like, I actually just don't know who this guy is, because that always frustrates me when I don't know who the person is. I'm just going to quantify it with some numbers so that you know that I'm a big deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm at almost 500,000 subs on YouTube. I upload several videos a week, often to around, at least 100K views per video, making Destiny comedy videos. And here we are. And numbers don't matter, but also they sometimes do. So
it's YouTube. They matter a little bit for paying the bills. Like eventually at some point they matter.
At some point they do come into play. But yeah, just so if you're listening, like, why should I care at all about what this guy's saying?
Yes.
That's why I think.
Yeah, Jez is he's very accomplished.
So my path is very simple. 3,000 hours of Team Fortress 2 on PC before I turned 18. And I thought, I need to do something with the amount of time that I'm putting into Team Fortress 2. And I was kind of inspired by some other TF2 YouTubers at the time called Star and Germa. And I was like, God, I watch their videos. That's all I do is watch their videos and play Team Fortress 2. I could totally do this. I Googled how to make videos, and then I just started making videos. And then here we are.
I love it. How consistent were you? Were you like in the beginning when you were like, I'm super interested in that? Also, what year was that?
Ooh, that was I was maybe 20. So I'm 26 now. So about 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
And I was just kind of uploading, I don't know, I was really slow at editing because I literally was trying to learn how to edit. It took me over 20 videos to work out how to not clip my audio and have my voice audio be not distorted. That's how inexperienced I was.
That's very fast. I mean, it took me a long time to learn what a compressor was. Like it took me.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
It took me, for me especially, not having a compressor for the first 3 years I streamed. I don't know why anyone watched me. Like my channel should have been dead. Because there's I absolutely, now looking back, I was always like, I'm not that loud. Other people scream. And I was like, other people scream and they have hardware to make sure that it's okay to do that. But you don't. So like everyone that ever told you ruined their headphones, it's like, it's probably true.
Oh, did you like get the occasional feedback? Yeah, hey, you're actually pretty loud. And you're like, no, surely
I'm not loud. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, you know me. Like, you know how I am.
Damn that hater.
Yeah. I'm just like, this guy's a fucking asshole. Everyone else is here. They're fine.
All right.
But you're mad. Okay, bud. Just you. That's, I've grown more intelligent as I've aged. But yeah, right, okay. Yeah. So it took you were very inexperienced. You taught yourself editing.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Because I don't do editing.
Yeah, listen, editing is 0 out of 10, and I would never recommend you do it.
Okay, good.
But I would recommend you pay someone to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and so just kept uploading videos, and actually how I got like my first 100 subscribers, I would literally spam my friend list on Steam. Because I had a bunch of friends on Steam because the TF2 community was like really friendly. And I'd be like, hey, just starting to upload some vids. Would love any feedback if you have any. Was, of course, didn't give an F about their feedback. Just
yeah, that was smooth.
So that's how I got my first 100 subs, baby. Just spamming it.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So the really short version of the story of right before Destiny is I did that for about 6 months before Destiny, got slowly to 1,000 subs. It took me about a year to get almost to 1,000 subs with Team Fortress 2.
Gotcha.
And then I quit the game and transitioned to Destiny right as the Vault of Glass launched because my girlfriend at the time bought me a PS4 with Destiny. And I was like, oh my God, I actually love this. And then I transitioned to Destiny content. Lost all the subs because no one gave an F because now it's Destiny.
Yeah.
And then so slowly worked my way back up from there.
Okay. So what was the process like from like pivoting that early? Because I know that that's something that people are terrified of when I just got 100 subs or I just got 1,000 subs and I don't want to deviate from my plan or what got them here. I'm scared to lose them. That's, I can talk about that pretty knowledgeably with context on Twitch. Like, you need to play what's going to engage you long term. And if anyone's an asshole, you just ban them. And you can't be scared of that. But I have absolutely no idea what that's like on YouTube. So like, how did you handle that emotionally? Or like, do you have recommendations for people who are thinking like, oh shit, this is what got me here, but it can't be what's next?
Yeah, I think internally you have to zoom out from the moment and like definitely emotionally detach from the numbers, because I went through a process of a few months there of just like, I went from averaging 1,000 to 3,000 views per video to averaging 100 views per video. And I was like, all right, that's a big emotional check. Obviously, people don't care about me that much. You're not that hot, Jez. Just relax. And then I was constantly losing subs and constantly gaining subs. So the subs were constantly going down and then kind of back up. So I was like, in my head, I was like, you know what? I'm going to think of this as a purge, and all the lost subs are good because that's not a fake bloated number anymore. And the people that aren't interested in Destiny are all transitioning out. And so that's okay. And I just kind of allowed myself to see that number go down and just keep making stuff.
You reframed it in a more positive way, like intellectually for yourself. That's
because I was like, listen, if I zoom out into the future here and like look forward maybe 6 months to a year, I'm not even gonna, like, everything will be fine. The transition will have happened and we'll be chilling.
Yeah. So that's great. I mean, that's something that I struggle with. Like I constantly, my wife, this will be really fun and confusing. My wife, Amy, oh
my God, imagine having a wife named Amy. What is that like?
I don't know, dude. Could you tell me? So that's something that Amy and I work on a lot, is I have these tendencies to like get really pessimistic sometimes. And that it never helps anybody, right? It's not, you're not going to help yourself if you're looking, you're like, oh, the numbers are going down. But like that mindset of whatever it is, because there's a whole bunch of reasons why your numbers go down. But the first thing you said was so perfect. Like, calm down. You're not hot shit. And I think that if you can like if you could take that hit and like actually tell yourself like, you're just a normal fucking person, calm the fuck down, and like constantly maintaining that mentality of like, I'm just a guy playing video games and like whatever happens, it's going to keep you in a really like healthy mental place no matter what's going on. So so you churned through these guys, these people who are, these bloated numbers, and you started making Destiny content. Was there a piece of content that you felt like changed the game for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And at some point, if you want to get into the how to probably make it on YouTube IMO system that I came up with, that's part of kind of the story there of like how I massively jumped in subs.
Sure. Let's hear that story. That is exactly what I want. I want all the nitty gritty details. Yeah.
Yeah. So chat, listen up. If you're trying to make it on YouTube, I'm going to tell you literally how to do it. In my opinion, this is how I did it. And this is how I've seen so many of my friends do it. And it's going to be tactile. It's secret time, baby. So everybody lean in.
Yeah.
There's 2 steps. Let's get started. Step 1 is you need to get the eyeballs.
Okay.
And eyeballs is just a fun way of saying attention. You need to get the eyeballs. And then step 2 is you need to keep the eyeballs. And now that seems counterintuitive because it's so simple. It's too simple. What's interesting is that there's actually, once you have people watching your content, the content that I make now is different now that I have people. And I'll go into that a little bit more. So step 1 is get the eyeballs. How do you do that? Here's what you need to do. You find places where people are gathering around the thing. And then you siphon those people to your thing.
Okay.
It's very sneaky. For me, that thing was the Destiny subreddit back in the day. And this is about to tail straight into that story of my channel.
Okay.
And I basically just paid very close attention to the Destiny subreddit for months and months and months. What was getting upvoted? What was going viral? What kind of sense of humor did they seem to like? And then the House of Wolf streams came along. I made 3 videos making fun of just kind of the whole thing because there's just so many fun, awkward moments. And unfortunately, you were on the receiving end of some of those jokes. I'm so sorry, but I love you.
I was.
And so I made the 3 videos, posted them to the Reddit myself. I was like, hey, just thought there was some funny moments that you might have missed. You know, here's the vid. And those 3 videos, they all got 1,000 to 3,000 upvotes each. And I went from 1K to 10K subs in 1 month.
Nice.
So that was the first jump.
So
and I was like, yep. So any questions, hit me.
No, I have an ass load of questions right now. So first of all, something that you did, like to use it in like systematic language, is like you identified a place where people were underserved. Like you literally reverse engineered content for the Destiny subreddit intentionally because clearly they wouldn't, clearly no one else was doing that. Like no one else was identifying their humor and their tone and what they like to hear and what they like to meme about. And you literally took that and then created 3 pieces of perfect content for them. And it changed everything. That's fucking cool as shit. Isn't it against the rules to self-promote on a subreddit like that?
Well, here's the thing.
Or is it be flexible?
There's 2 factors. Well, often if it's new IP and it's kind of an emerging community, often the rules are more relaxed, I've found. And B, the actual rule is out of 10 things you post on the Destiny subreddit back in the day, 1 could have been self-promotion if the other 9 are like you genuinely contributing to things that aren't self-promotion. So I literally counted 9 different posts of like, oh, hey, that was awesome. Great job. Keep it up. And then I just spammed my effing thing.
I knew you were fucking genius. God damn it. Yeah. No, that's that is one of the most like intelligent things anyone has ever like said to me on in all of these podcasts about how they started constructing their content. Like you have so much intention and like you had a very clear path from like, I'm going to do this. This is how I'm going to find what I want. And this is how I'm going to keep those eyeballs. So you got 10,000 people. How did you grow 10,000 to almost 500,000?
Yeah. So the 10,000, I went from 10,000 to 40,000 doing the exact same thing, just with the Taken King reveal streams, because they did 3 more streams a few months later in the lead up to the Taken King release. I was like, cool, I already know what works. This time people were asking me to do it.
Thank you for the manna from heavens. And then you stroked the forge, I'm sure.
Yeah. And at this point, the people are like, oh, I hope Jez does like the funny moments videos. People are asking for it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. They want me to do this. Automatically upvoted to the front page, 1 to 3,000 upvotes. We're chilling.
Yeah.
And so I, within 1 month of the Taken King being out, I'm now at 40,000 views. And I hear you saying in the chat, but Jez, mayhap you are an anomaly, and maybe this won't work for me. Let me give you 4 examples I could think of my friends who also did this. Okay. Skill Up got his first 100,000 subs by doing the exact same thing with weapon reviews with the Division 1 on the Division 1 subreddit before eventually pivoting to game reviews. Okay. Mr. Fruit did literally the same thing with his, I don't know if you remember, his limited time sale advertisement skits based on whatever weapon Xur was selling when Xur first became a thing.
Yes.
He posted them to the Destiny subreddit himself. They went viral every time with a few thousand upvotes immediately to the top. And he was just siphoning those eyeballs just casually because they were received well every time. M-Tash did it with the Division 1 and Monster Hunter World subreddits. When those games first came out, again, new IP, that's the time to do it. And Bife did the same thing with lore videos. And so just do it, Chad. It bloody works.
Yeah, I've been using Reddit to reverse engineer content for Instagram. And I only started doing that really, really recently. Yeah, like it's incredible how quickly God, this is like so much serendipity, because I literally like just started doing this like fucking 9 days ago, and it's been going great. But like awesome. it takes very little time to visit a subreddit for like a game or a cultural topic or whatever, and get a really, really strong sense of, this is the language people in this community use. This is the humor that these people like. These are the images that these people are associating with. Like, this is the quality of content that is palatable, right? So like, you can go into some communities and you can post like a half-assed photo and like a little meme and it's like 20 million upvotes, right? Like everyone's like, holy shit. But if you do that like on r/photography, everyone will go tell you to fuck off.
Right.
You know, so
well, not necessarily. It has to be contextual to the subreddit.
Yeah,
there might be things that people upvote there.
That's true. That's very true. But you get all of those nuances very quickly by going over, like, let's say, like the hot posts over the last month, or the most upvoted things. You can take 5 minutes before you post something about The Witcher, or you post something about whatever, and you can learn how to take your voice and use that language when you're making the content. So Reddit is actually, it's like a cultural dictionary. And if you're looking to make contextualized content, Reddit is a great place to start. And this is the probably the only time I say this. Reddit's the place where, if you're an observer, it's really cool that everyone is arguing. because it will also show you the points of conflict inside of that community, so you know what to stay away from. Like, it's like a big radioactive sign, like, don't say this fucking word about this game, people will lose their shit, right?
Oh, that was very important. Yeah, noticing what do they find cringy, what do they all laugh about and think that is awful. Like, stay away from those pitfalls.
Okay, so you have this incredible proof case of, like, okay, this is the content that I can make. This is the way that I'm learning how to craft this. You're at 100,000 subs, and you've said that your content has evolved. So what informed, your evolution of how you approach content from 100,000 subs to like 500,000, almost 500,000, where you're at right now?
I'm so glad you asked, Broman, because that leads me to step number 2, which is keep the eyeballs.
Oh God, you did bring that up.
It's kind of a different game once you've brought people to the channel, and now maybe they care about you a little bit, and now maybe you please them with whatever crazy thing you did earlier, but now what else do you have? They're kind of checking you out. So because YouTube, in my opinion, because YouTube so heavily rewards watch time, which that's just factual, I think that YouTube is a very momentum-based platform. And now people don't really talk about this principle, I think, because it's kind of hard to quantify and it's hard to like nail down. But I think I have a very good example that will prove it to you. But before I get to that, the bottom line is the things you make in the hopes they will go viral are often not the things that will sustain your channel, in my experience. So like the Awkward Moments videos, they initially brought people. And in more recent years, the stuff that I have done to get eyeballs is the In a Nutshell series.
Yes.
And often the drawbacks to those big, crazy viral videos is they're often extremely editing intensive and just not very sustainable to actually have a career on YouTube, especially with watch time, and because I can't easily and frequently replicate those.
Yeah, no, those are labors of love. You can tell when you watch them that there's a lot of work that goes into each one.
Yeah, exactly. And so there needs to be other content that people are still interested in that I can produce, or any YouTuber can produce much more frequently, which is important because, like I said, YouTube is very momentum based. So, an example is Mr. Fruit isn't making his limited sale or his, the Space Magic funny montage crazy edits anymore because he doesn't need to. He already has the eyeballs and he already has the momentum. Not sure if you're familiar with Hush, but, Hush isn't making his the life of a whatever class here, main meme edit montages. I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are also extremely editing intensive and so difficult to replicate. So because he already has eyeballs and momentum, he's making this kind of content, the frequently able to produce content. So let me give you the example. I think this is what really proved it to me of why I think momentum is such a big factor on YouTube. And it's actually, if you compare Hush's channel to my own channel right now.
Okay.
Both Destiny comedy channels. All right, lean in, chat. Everyone pay attention.
Get in your clothes.
Both Destiny comedy.
Listen.
We both have around 500 subs.
Nice.
We both upload 1 to 3 videos a week.
Nice.
But right now, he's averaging 200,000 to 300,000 views per video, while I'm only averaging 1 to 150,000. He's almost doubling my views, whilst most of the factors are still the same.
What's the difference?
So he has more momentum on his channel right now.
Okay.
So, and if we rewind to Shadowkeep's launch month, a few months ago, I was also averaging 200 to 300K at the time. So it's like, so for whatever reason, my momentum has slowed. Maybe I did too many sponsor deals, monetized too aggressively, or maybe I just got lazy with the edits and the videos just haven't been as good recently. It's up to the individual creator to take responsibility and solve those problems. But Hush, on the other hand, very interestingly, had a video go mega viral 5 months ago called, he called it So I Played Destiny 1 5 years later. Great effing title. I hate you, Hush. And that got almost 2 million views. And his views and subscriber count have just been soaring ever since because YouTube is momentum based and he has momentum right now.
Yeah.
So
you're going to make me.
In summary.
Yes.
Sorry, do you want to jump in? Any questions?
No,
any
you keep talking. I'm going to look up some stuff about my channel to confirm something that I think is true, but I want to make sure that it is.
Okay, I'm so happy you mentioned that because I was going to give you the option. We could do a totally honest, brutal, in my opinion, critique of your channel of what I think you could improve on your YouTube if I had to take it over.
Yeah, we'll do that. Sure.
It's totally up to you. I do not want to go there if you don't want to go there.
I feel like everyone will learn a lot. You just have to be okay if I cry. Are you okay if I cry? Can I cry?
All right. And you know, if we did it, what it would honestly be is, here's what I would do if I took over your channel tomorrow as the manager and like tried to make it be popping. That's the things I would do. And I thought about it yesterday.
Sure.
So, you know, if it's something you're interested in.
Sure.
And so, yeah, so finally, the question I'm asking myself at all times, and what I think all creators should be asking themselves, all YouTubers, is my content hot right now? AKA, does it have momentum? If yes, keep making this a sustainable thing. If no, make the crazy thing to get more eyeballs and then transition back to the sustainable thing. And that's so much more easier said than done, sweet Jesus, I know. But like, that's big picture, I think, how to think about it.
Yeah.
The right way. So, yeah, and that's my wife right now, baby. We're in the trenches. She has a makeup YouTube channel. We're doing the thing. We're making the videos, you know, in hopes of them kind of popping off to get some momentum. She's only averaging, you know, several hundred views at this time per video. She has 3,000 subs. So we're right in it. We're in the trenches. We're just waiting for that video to pop off and pick up some momentum. So.
Yeah. So you brought up all that stuff, and then I was like, oh, I'll look up my subscriber count based off of when XYZ thing is happening. And yeah, like every time we got a world first or we're close, it was like a huge jump on my YouTube channel because everyone's looking. Like King's Fall was probably like 50,000 subscribers for my channel. Yeah, because it's a world's first. So yeah. So you think that, and this is super interesting to me, and this is why I've wanted to have more YouTubers on. One, because like I'm definitely not a YouTube specialist, so me giving advice about YouTube is pointless. I wouldn't want anyone to listen to that. Right. But the second thing is that there are huge differences between Twitch and YouTube, and I completely agree with both of them being totally momentum based. What I think is interesting is that the try something wild and off the wall stuff on Twitch seems to be like incredibly counterintuitive. Right. Like sometimes it works. But the idea that you have this, like, there is a trend of like, I need to get eyeballs, and then you kind of play whatever you want to get it, but it's so completely different. So there's actually a couple of things I wanted to ask you. One, you mentioned you upload 1 to 3 times a week. So
actually, this is a pivot, and I have one final thing that's like perfectly in line with exactly what you just said. That's very important, I think, for people listening before we quickly pivot to that, which is YouTube is the opposite. And sorry to interrupt. Please forgive me 1,000 pardons, sir.
No, you're not interrupting me.
Final thing that I forgot to mention that's so important is that YouTube is the exact opposite to Twitch in that it's a discoverability platform.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is you can't get discovered on Twitch. It doesn't have that like functionality in the platform itself.
It's very poorly constructed. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that? Say that.
Says, you can still get discovered on Twitch, but it's incredibly poorly destructive, and it's poorly constructed, and it's certainly not a search engine for videos, which is what YouTube is. Yeah. Well,
let me give you the example of what I mean by YouTube is discoverable versus Twitch.
Gotcha.
You can upload, literally, I've seen this happen, and I will tell you what it was. Okay. I've seen a channel with 0 subscribers upload his first video. That video went viral. strictly with no marketing, just with the YouTube algorithm itself, and it hit 1 million views.
Jesus.
And that's because YouTube is so magic and golden in that it is a discoverability platform. And I can tell you what it was. The video was, I remember seeing it 3 years ago. It was called Overwatch Hidden Character Options. And, you know, a guy noticed right after when Overwatch came out that if you were in game playing a certain character, certain hidden options would become available for that character in the settings menu. And so he just went through every character and just kind of listed all those. And so that's the magic of YouTube, baby. It's discoverable in that kind of thing I don't think could ever happen. Imagine trying to get 1 million eyeballs on your channel with 0 effort on Twitch.
It's
laughable in comparison.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So that's why I think YouTube is, thank God, a discoverability platform. So you just need to keep uploading and eventually something will pop. And so, yeah, that's just, yeah.
Yeah. So that's
back to your original question.
No, that's great. No, so do you think that growing on YouTube is, I mean, obviously you have to put in the work. Oh, the question was, you said that you make 1 to 3 videos a week. Would you recommend that for someone who's starting out? Do you feel like there's like a necessity to creating scarcity on YouTube now? I'm really curious because the advice I've heard from every YouTuber, but I've seen the behavior from the same people who gave me this advice change to be similar to yours. It was upload every day. So what is the change? Like, why aren't you uploading every single day?
2 words, 1 word, productivity.
Okay.
I'm just not that productive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would be uploading 5 videos a week if I thought I could get them to the standard that I want them, and if I was 10 times more productive.
I understand.
Yeah, so that's the limiting factor for me. This whole magical upload every day kind of thing, I don't buy it whatsoever. You've got Shane Dawson uploading once every 6 months.
Or like,
a few videos every 6 months.
Yeah, once after completing a giant project.
Yeah, and you know, the YouTube algorithm certainly doesn't seem to be hampering him in any way, shape, or form. So I think that's a myth.
Yeah.
Obviously, the factors of momentum is at play, and watch time is heavily favored. But yeah, I think what's more important than how often you're uploading is how good is the content, because that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Sure.
So,
yeah. So if you have, and I guess we can get to questions, but before we get to questions, I would love to know, if you took over my YouTube channel tomorrow, what you would do with it.
All right. All of this advice is obviously subjective to me, and
you might be writing somebody's job description right now. I'm just kidding. You're not
okay.
I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on you. But
okay, looking at your channel, let's take some stock. So I see 250,000 subscribers, great channel. You obviously have a ton of subs. So you obviously have done something right. Is it fair to say that if I was to guess the ratio of why people originally subscribed to you, it's probably 80% Destiny, 20% Borderlands? Would you ballpark it?
Yeah, I'd probably say it's more like 98% Destiny.
Oh, Destiny. Oh,
yeah, it really would. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, very interesting.
My Borderlands uploads were solely because I needed a place to archive speedrun tricks because I was sick of answering the same goddamn questions in chat. So that's why I started my YouTube. I literally started it so people would stop asking me goddamn questions. But yeah, it's mostly amazing. Destiny, folks. Yeah. Okay,
interesting. So that being said, so for you, I take it back to, you've done step 1, which is you have the eyeballs. Now, how do you keep the eyeballs? Because like I said, it's kind of, you operate differently once you have them. Now,
yes,
it's fair to say, based on your amount of subscribers, and I'm seeing kind of, 2,000 views, 300, 2,000.
Yeah, they're not very engaged.
1,500. So not a heap of momentum. We could have more momentum. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, that's very fair to say. Yeah.
So what my immediate first kind of vibe for your channel would be that I think Let's Play content, for the most part, unless you're effing PewDiePie, has kind of played out. I think Twitch killed Let's Play content for the most part on YouTube. So I think that what's actually happening is each time you upload a video to not a lot of great reception from your subscribers, YouTube, obviously YouTube learns and goes, oh, okay, well, I'll show this content to less of Ben's subscribers because the click-through rate is low. So I think the Let's Play content is potentially hurting you a lot more than it's helping you. So I would immediately stop all the Let's Play content. I'm just
Chat's
to be perfectly honest.
Fucking mad at you.
Oh no, Chat.
But I don't care. I'm going to do what's best for me and make sure I feed my family. So keep going.
Okay, so that would be step one, because like I said, YouTube's momentum based. So the constantly uploading things that are clearly just either not what your subscribers want to see, or that's just kind of not hitting well, I think is just actually putting you kind of in the red more and more in terms of like channel momentum. So if I was to pay attention to the things that have done well recently, which I did this last night, I was kind of scrolling through. I was like, okay, first thing, we've got 55,000 views on the WoW Saint 14 Saved My Life. Yeah. Okay, interesting. So that's doing well. That's you playing one of the Saint 14 missions for the first time.
It's me using a clickbait title for the first time in my career on YouTube.
First of all, proud of you. Second of all, keep doing that.
Yeah, no, I literally did that. And I told Chat, I said, Chat, I'm going to name this the most obscene fucking stupid thing that I can. Try and get people to stop and click on it. And if it works, all my titles are going to be clickbait from now on. And
yep. Yeah, I'm so proud of you, because that you honestly, it's kind of sad, but you kind of have to.
No, you do. I decided to stop fighting the morality of that, like that whole like internet living in my basement troll shit of like, hey, you're not doing blah, and it's like, no. Like you need to do like what works. And if clickbait is, because here's the thing, the guy that's trolling you in the basement saying that like you're using clickbait is the same guy that clicked on your video, probably liked it and left a comment because they appreciate it so much.
Right.
Also, that video doesn't have a thumbnail, and that was intentional too. I just remembered that because Tullis was out of town and I was like, fuck it. Let's just do an experiment video. And you're right. Out of literally everything that I have fucking uploaded in the past month, the no thumbnail Saint 14 Save My Life clickbait video has done better than anything else. Sorry. I'm an auditory learner, so I process things by talking. So please continue.
No, this is good. This is good. Yeah. I can see you learning, and I like this. This
is a good feedback loop. This is why I like the podcast. When you get to see people learn, you're like, oh yeah, that's some good shit. Okay.
Oh yeah, learning.
Oh yeah, that's great. Okay.
Keep learning.
Keep it up.
Okay.
All right.
The epic thumbnail, you naughty son of a bitch. Okay. First of all, how dare you upload a video without a killer thumbnail? Because unfortunately, the epic title and thumbnail, or as I call it, the packaging of a video.
Yeah, you're right.
Is literally 50% of the equation of what makes a video go viral.
So
let me tell you what that equation is.
If I had a good thumbnail, that would have been like 100,000 views.
That's what I was going to say. I'm frustrated because that could have been 100K views had you packaged it just a little better.
Yeah.
So,
or like at all. I know what I did.
So it did well despite you trying to sabotage the video is what I'm trying to say. So the mathematics of why YouTube would recommend a video and why video goes viral is two things. It's the click-through rate over the watch time. Click-through rate is the percentage of people YouTube shows the video to versus the amount that actually click on that. So if they only show it to 1,000 people, but a lot of those people, a high percentage clicks the video, they're going to start circulating that thing, baby, because it's going to go viral because high click-through rate. Now, the second part of that equation is watch time, which is, are people actually staying on the video once they click it? So you can't bait people with a sexy lady in the thumbnail, or in this case, a shirtless pic of you in the thumbnail, and then that's not actually in the video. So they're immediately going to click away, and that's going to kill the video's momentum. Okay. So click-through rate literally is title and thumbnail.
Gotcha.
That's 50% of the equation.
Gotcha.
So that's frustrating because lol, why should that matter? But unfortunately, it's half of why people click. So
yeah.
Okay. So the packaging needs to be good. You're already starting to do good titles, and I love it. So yeah, from now on, please take the thumbnail seriously, just because unfortunately it actually makes such a big difference.
What is popping for thumbnails right now?
If you look at, so my personal preference, if you look at, let's say, my thumbnails.
I'm gonna look at your shit right now. Yeah.
You'll notice zero text,
Yeah.
very colorful,
Yeah.
one main thing of focus in the middle.
Yes.
And that's it.
That's all.
If you want, and that's all it is. If basically, honestly, just go to Mr. Beast's YouTube channel and just look at his thumbnails.
Okay.
He's a great example of viral thumbnails. If you look at Mr. Fruit, he's a great example of viral thumbnails. You know, not a lot of text. And, you know, a lot of these thumbnails I'm noticing are quite busy. Like, you know, even having the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Part X in the thumbnail, I'd rather just get all that text out and just have like maybe just a headshot of Siri smash bang in the middle, you know, accompanying the clickbait related to Siri maybe, you know, oh my God, can't believe Siri did this to me, that kind of title. With that kind of
so what you're saying is like the trend has been, and this is me admitting that I have been a shit. I mean, I did say at the beginning, I don't give advice on YouTube because I'm a fucking idiot when it comes to YouTube. But so like the trend has been to like you're generating mystery, right? You're like, oh, fucking like, look at that. That's a picture of a gun. What gun is that? I won't know unless I click it.
Yeah. Baiting people is important. Yes.
I mean, no, I mean, well, the thing is that when I started YouTube, like thumbnail construction was like completely different.
Right.
And you grab people's attention in a completely different way. And the reality is that's changed, but I haven't. So that's the problem. Thank you for making me aware.
And one thing that text does that I don't think a lot of people think about is that it kind of betrays the quality in a way. But if you just have like no text, there's something about it where you can't, like it always looks good almost. Whereas if there's text, it's so easy to screw text up and you'll make it too small and it's too much clutter. So I'm just not a fan.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah. And the final thing on thumbnails is take a screenshot of you watching a video like of, you know, with all the recommended videos on the right-hand side, smash that into Photoshop. And then when you think you've made a good thumbnail, shrink it right down and literally put it over the top of one of the thumbnails in the sidebar and then just see how it kind of fits in the landscape. And that's a good way of like just going real macro. Is it too cluttered or not? It'll tell you very quickly whether it looks good or not.
Son of a bitch. That is one of the most genius, okay, so I'm about to be a huge fucking nerd. So like I love trading, like stocks, cryptocurrency, like whatever, right? And one of the most important things in trading is like back testing your idea, right? So if you make an algorithm and you're like, oh, I'm going to use this to fucking make me money. You run it against statistically significant, you know, stocks or cryptocurrencies charts in the past to see if it gives you the right indicators going forward. And this is literally the only fucking time I've ever heard of somebody explaining a way to back test your fucking thumbnails on YouTube before you put them in a video and gather data. Like, I want to make sure that everybody understands, and I made you fall asleep so you'd wake back up when I say this. This is one of the best pieces of advice on YouTube I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. And it's probably the best 2 sentences that you'll ever get of advice about thumbnails. So can you please repeat what you just told everyone to do to make sure their thumbnails don't suck shit?
Screenshot you watching a video and then shrink your thumbnail right down and then slap it over one of the thumbnails in the sidebar and look at it at a macro level to really see how good it is. Because you think, you know, all those little details that you think are important, no one can effing see them, dude. It's a tiny thumbnail. Sorry.
That's such good. No, this is such good advice. Chat, if you thought that was a good advice, I need you to type 1. Everyone should type 1.
Also, you know who also says that they do that? That I heard last year? Mr. Beast, #1 channel in 2019 on YouTube.
Yep.
So, you know, not a big deal, but
sometimes, and I mean, and that's what I've found in doing this is that usually, and I hold myself to this standard too, the longer an answer has to be, the less you probably understand something, right? And that is such a short answer. And the fact that Mr. Beast, because of course, right? The fact that he has the same methodology of saying, I take this thumbnail, I put it up against everything in trending and see if it makes sense over there is like one of the most obvious things in the entire world. And yet it's so not obvious to like attempt that practice. Like, so that's great. So, okay.
So that's super important.
Simpler thumbnails.
Get the clutter off the thumbnails. Very important. IMO.
Okay.
All right. And just to wrap up the final few things that I would do. So yeah, fix the thumbnails first of all. And then, so if we just quickly scan through just the other stuff that has popped off recently in your channel, because I think this is where we learned the most.
Excellent.
So, we had the Destiny 2 5 things you need to know right now. Good. And that, that was 14,000. Now, one thing I would improve that straight away. Why is Destiny 2 the first part of the title, in my opinion? Because
I don't know how titles work anymore, bud. Tell me.
Yeah. So I would start that title.
Work.
Yeah, so I would start that title at 5 things you need to know right now. And here's how you do it. Because it's a Destiny related thumbnail, people already know Destiny 2. And then you can put Destiny 2 at the end of the title for the metadata, for the, when people search it.
Yeah, that's why I put it first, is because of the metadata, but now I understand.
Yep. And so now the reason I say that is because you only have
like
so many characters. Sorry, I missed that.
I said I'm going to mail you a box of wine or like alcohol of your preference. This is like, I'm getting a master class on YouTube from someone I really look up to. So this is really great.
Exciting.
It was very exciting. No, continue. Yeah. All right. So,
so you only get so many characters before you get the little ... and it cuts off your title.
Sure.
So anything that you're only putting in there for the tags, yeet that to the end because you want to bait people in with the title before it hits the ... cutoff.
Okay. All right.
All right, so there's that.
Yeah.
What else popped off? Destiny 2, I got into a big fight with Saint 14. Great effing title. I got into a big fight with Saint 14. Now fix that thumbnail. Do a close-up of Saint 14's face. Get the text out. That's that's perfect packaging right there. That's how I would do it.
Oh my God, dude.
What else? Oh, okay. So it's basically pay attention to what's popping off, and it's kind of you doing stuff for the first time and reacting, because I think your reactions are some of the best online, because you react in such a crazy, charismatic, and yet still genuine way. I wish I could react to anything as well as you react to anything. So I think that does well for that reason.
Okay.
Now, here's how I would change the videos themselves whilst you're kind of doing okay, what's working, what's not. Now I'm going to click on I got into a big fight with Saint 14. It's 18 minutes long. Immediately what I noticed with this video, how I would change the edit, just to get real tactile for a second.
Sure.
Is I think I would go I do this, Dr. Disrespect does this, Pokimane does this. A lot of the top people are doing this, the people that are doing well on YouTube and Twitch. In that, I would change it from 18 minutes. I would cut it tight down to 10 minutes. And once again, that's just this is to get channel momentum. Maybe you could have gotten away with the 18 minutes if you had momentum behind your channel, but because people are kind of less engaged right now, you really have to tighten everything up, in my opinion. So I would cut it down to 18 minutes, and how I would do that is cut out all the space and the downtime in between all your funny commentary and in between all the like high action or comedic moments in the game. So I'm cutting it down. I'm tightening up the pace a lot. And then I'm keeping the momentum high, and then I'm adding some punchy music underneath, and I'm kind of cutting that music. I'm editing it so that music accentuates the punchlines or the funny moments. And if you watch my videos, you'll see that I do this because I'm not that funny naturally, but I lean into the comedy with the edit. So I'll cut the music, for the setup, I have the music, and then I cut the music so that you lean in for the punchline. And that's kind of a subtle thing that I do, but I think it really adds a lot of energy and momentum to a video.
Yeah.
So that's how I would personally change the edit. And so, yeah, I don't know. Any questions, thoughts, feedback on that?
No, that's awesome. I'm just going to tell my editor to do that.
Yeah. That's
what I'm going to do.
What are you doing?
Well, that's the thing is that like, I haven't been able to effectively give direction either. Right. So now it gets a lot easier. And this is, I sure hope that new Tad is listening, because this is pretty golden advice for literally everything that we're doing. Okay, I'm glad. New Tad, I hope you're taking notes.
Now, interesting. Tainted Raindrop in the chat says, editing for 5-year-olds. Here's the thing about that, is that the internet is so ADD, and you
Yeah.
have to keep people engaged literally every second, or they're going to click
This
off.
is the and this is what I was talking about. This was the this was the mindset that I went into and this is really important. I'm going into something with this mindset of I'm better than that about anything that isn't a moral issue is fucking stupid. And this was like, so I'm going to talk about my journey with this, right?
Please.
So like intellectually, when I started making content, I was involved with a community that has grown out of this, but they were very self-righteous. The speedrunning community was super self-righteous when I started streaming. Nobody's accepting tips. If you stream for money, you're a piece of shit, sell out. You don't want to get partnered. You don't want to be it's like, that's how I started making content. And so I had this skewed view in the beginning of like, I am holding the moral high ground by not doing XYZ thing that is not morally wrong. It's simply, as you put it, like feeding the algorithm the right way or creating media that people are used to consuming or whatever. Right. So like, and this is, and I have to say, like, I have to say the moral thing. Cause like, look, you don't need to make content that's going to morally compromise you. Like, I don't know what you fucking believe as a person, but like, please don't ever make something that is against what you believe as a person. That is selling out. But designing a good thumbnail and designing a thumbnail that fits in the algorithm, designing a title that fits in the algorithm and editing in a way that keeps people's attention is not fucking wrong. Movies edit to keep your attention. Television edits 2 commercials to hook you before the commercials run intentionally. There are certain behaviors and there are ways that our mind like physiologically, there are ways that our mind consumes information. I learned a lot about attention because I have attention deficit disorder. So managing how my brain funnels information is a huge part of my life. And if something keeps my attention for a long period of time, it's because it's really well done. And it doesn't, like, I can appreciate a lot of different things, but because attention is like a limited resource for me, I have like the frantic, far end of the spectrum attention span. And I have noticed that when people lean into if anyone is able to keep my attention with editing the whole time, that's a phenomenal video. So like for me, I love to talk. And when you're speaking, you have to know your audience and you have to use the language your audience is used to so that they can understand the point you are trying to make. And, it's not your audience. And this is the thing. People who are making content that try to hold this moral high ground thing blame their audience for being blame the audience, it might not be their audience, the audience for being what they are. But you would think I was an insane jackass if I went to Japan to speak at a Japanese university and I said, and they were like, please speak in Japanese. And I was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to speak English. Nobody would learn anything. It wouldn't be a successful session or semester of teaching a class because no one would know what I was saying. There is absolutely nothing wrong with communicating to the audience in a way that is easiest for them to hear. So whether that is, making sure you have tight editing on YouTube, which holds everyone's attention, including the people who say that they hate it because there's a reason why they can't stop watching the videos. And, there's a reason why, even though it's been impossible to monetize short vertical video platforms, like they just continue to exist, right? Like you had Vine and that died, and you had Snap and that's still around. It's doing okay. And then you have TikTok and it's fucking exploding, right? Like people enjoy consuming content in those little 15-minute sections. And if you can edit your YouTube video to have hooks every 15 seconds, you've done a fantastic job taking who you are and editing it so that it is consumed by the most amount of people possible. I don't think that you can lose your authenticity in editing. And I think that I know that is a hang up that I had when I started making content. I had this self-righteous attitude that really held me back a lot. And I think that my best piece of advice about all this is don't make the same goddamn mistakes I did. Take your self-righteous attitude, put it out the fucking door, and do what's going to work. Do what is going to make the most amount of people enjoy the content that you are working so hard to make. Because you work hard to make it. It doesn't, I mean, like, it doesn't matter whether it's your first video, your like 10,000th video. You put in work to make it. You should enable it to reach as many people as you possibly can. Yeah. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox. Well said. But that's my, like, that's like one of my biggest, I have two huge regrets about making content. One was I didn't listen to somebody who's phenomenal at YouTube. When I started streaming, I basically made fun of them and like, didn't like want their advice ever. And if I would have not been like that, I would have started my YouTube 3 years sooner, right alongside a whole bunch of other people. And it would have grown like gangbusters. But I was a dick instead, so I fucked myself. And then I didn't start. I started an Instagram and I stopped using it for like 4 years. But if I would have been consistently using it for 4 years, I'd have like, you know, 100 or 200,000 followers on there. And I didn't use it because I'm like, that's for girls. Like a fucking idiot. Like I was like, that's just, you know, that's like hot chicks and guys with muscles and fucking vacation photos, and nobody wants gaming on there. Meanwhile, Ninja Drake happened because of Ninja and Drake playing together happened because of Instagram. Like the most obvious watershed moment in gaming's cultural relevance, like transcendent moment. Yeah, hot chicks and chefs. So yeah.
God damn it, Goth. Every time.
Okay, Goth. Yeah, I listened to Goth chat. What a mistake. So yeah, that's like first of all, Jez, thank you for the quick and dirty rundown of my YouTube. I think that everyone listening to this, it's great because they'll be able to go back to my YouTube at like, so this is January 1st, okay, 2020, January 6th, 2020. Sorry, I can't read. I'm actually illiterate. It's amazing that we're even talking.
Same, retweet.
But you can go back and you can look at the state of my YouTube right now, and hopefully it will be very different. And like, I hope that like when people listen to this in 5 years, they're like, I can't believe Broman used to have a shit YouTube. But we'll see. But you can go check it out right now. If you're listening to this, you can like get, you know, hop in the old internet time machine and like take a look at the stuff that we're talking about. Cause I certainly learned a lot. And it's really cool to me that all of the stuff that you just told me to do applies to someone who's starting tomorrow. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to make sure that you say before we start taking questions from people?
Yeah. Number one thing, and this is a huge Gary Vaynerchuk thing, is that you have to be patient. You know, most people quit way before they ever get that first video to go viral, you know, and like I said, my wife and I, we're doing everything I just outlined to you for my wife's YouTube right now. And, you know, every few days she comes to me and she's like, I'm still getting less views, and she's spending 8-10 hours a day, every day, editing. And it can be so frustrating and like so demoralizing to be like, well, people just aren't interested. And I'm like, I promise you, be patient. Your content is good. You need to just make videos literally for a year before you even have any hope of A, having videos good enough to pop off, and B, before anything finally takes. So just keep your head down, stay in the trenches, and just keep making stuff, honestly.
And, you know, there's a lot of positives in not blowing up overnight. Because you're going to know how to do what you're doing. You're going to know how to do what you did. Like, I'm so happy that I started streaming when I did, because I started streaming 7 years ago, almost 7 years. So 20 days from now, it'll be 7 years on Twitch.
Wow.
And, you know, I started when the platform was new, and I was allowed to learn by just doing absolutely dumb, outlandish shit. With like the way I would design my stream and the way I would do all my overlays, like stuff that would just immediately people would just click away from the channel. They'd be like, this guy has no idea what he's doing. But because there wasn't a lot of people doing speed runs, or because it was so new, everyone was still trying to figure out what they like to to watch and what looked good as an overlay. So I got this awesome opportunity when I got started to sort of fail forward with the platform in a way that you might not be able to do now. But getting on stuff early is big, but growing with things like, and after, like I said, after doing Twitch for 7 years, you're going to look back at your old stuff and you're going to like cringe at it. And you're going to go like, oh, fuck. Why did anybody watch this? But
don't even get me started. I still carry the shame of those first 20 videos.
Yeah. And that's okay. Not blowing up overnight's great. Taking time to grow is awesome. It's definitely a way to look at it positive. The way that I looked at it when I started streaming, and this is even before I got partnered, is anything can happen at any point in time with any piece of content that you make. You can make a video now and it could go viral in 10 years. You could write a novel about, reimagining Polish folklore and turning it into sort of this sexy, steamy magic novel 27 years ago. Netflix can do a series about it, and then you become the #1 New York Times bestselling book. Like this, that's The Witcher, by the way. If you're not following, literally every form of media at this point, that moment proved it to me. Like, if a book can have a 27-year-old like resurgence, if Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" can be the #1 on the Billboard charts for the first time in 25 years after it's been published, like if every form of old media can have these resurgences, your content can too. So the shit that you're making right now may not be popping off, but you don't know what could happen in 10 years. That's one. Two, at any point in time, like, you don't know what could happen that day. The way that I liked to talk about it mentally was, it's every day I want to make sure that I check my lottery ticket, right? I get a new ticket every day and I can like pull it off the wall. So I always made sure I pulled off my YouTube once I started it, pulled off my YouTube, pulled off my Twitch, pulled off my, my Twitter, and now like my Instagram, and I'm going to make a piece of content that I like on every single one of these platforms every single day, because that's my lottery ticket. Pulled off, jerked off, ejaculated into, whatever sex jokes you want to make, chat. But I think that's a really important mindset, is that continuously recognizing that what you're doing is chance-based sort of makes you realize what you have control over. I have control over whether or not I make a YouTube video that day, or whether or not I turn on my stream, or whether or not I post on Instagram. And by focusing on the things that you can control, it makes you feel more empowered, as opposed to being like, I'm just going to put this up and the YouTube algorithm's going to do whatever the fuck it wants with it. Which is you don't have any control over that. So it sort of de-incentivizes you. All right. Let's get some questions. See if we can grab our first person here. I don't know who we can listen to, but anybody who's ready, you just pull in who's ready. Hello, Yolgan. How are you, man?
Hello, I'm good. Are you?
I'm great. Could we get him up a little bit? That'd be awesome.
I'm also great.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. Yes,
yeah. So what can Jez and I do for you, man?
Okay, so I wanted to ask Jez a question about
Hell yes.
being different country, because I know that he was based in Australia. He's moved over to America. One of my long-term goals is to the States to work for a games company, whatever. And I wanted to know what the process was like, moving from an entirely isolated area to a completely different isolated area, like getting your visa done, like moving all your stuff, like all that sort of thing. Like, what is that like? And basically, how difficult is it? Because I don't want it to be very difficult.
Yeah. First of all, how old are you?
I'm 19 right now.
Okay, you're 19. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a long-term goal.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh man, the visa thing is so individual, because I went through it depends on like what visa you're going for. It's like, do you plan on getting a visa and then moving over and then finding the work? Or do you plan on, applying for the job, getting the job, and then getting the work visa through that company? So there's so many ways you can go about it. The easiest way definitely is get the job and have the company get you a work visa. Because the visa I went for is like the O1, which is like the traditional Hollywood visa, quote unquote. It's called extraordinary artist. It's just, they just do that so that you have to pay, like $10,000 to even apply for it.
Yeah.
So I got that through YouTube, but I'd recommend you get a work visa, way easier and way less expensive. But yeah, it's a whole thing, my man. It's real tricky, but worth it, I think.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So yeah.
What's it like? Stuff like, do you go on a plane or like?
Sorry, you're a little bit quiet.
So really practically, like what's it like? Like how do you transport your life from one side of the planet to the other side of the planet? Like your stuff and pets and I don't know everything you brought over. So like, what was that like? What'd you have to do? How'd you do it?
I literally threw 80 to 90% of everything out back in Australia. And the only things I sent over, which still cost like several $1,000s, was just like my 2 PCs, my monitors and some clothes. So yeah, I just shipped all that over. What's that?
Okay. Ditch everything and run.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, thank you.
So,
that definitely does help clear up a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, good luck, my man. Really good luck, because it's a tough industry, and that's a big dream.
Yeah.
I approve.
Yeah. The best piece of advice I have heard from anyone who has a position in a game company right now is like, be as active as you can be. This is like side advice, but like be as active as you can be on any game or game. And specifically, I would sometimes, and this is important if you want a job in the games industry, stop looking at every game as a game and start looking at games as like potential employers. So, find games.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a while now.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. So you play games that you like, and then you look at the company, like you actually go to the website, go to the jobs postings, see what working there looks like, check out Glassdoor, things like that. And then, along with doing that, once you find a company you think you want to work for, become incredibly active on like everything that they make. So like be active on their message board forums, be active, against their socials, against their Twitters, just talk to people, because the folks that run their socials, who are essentially the first wave of people when it comes to hiring now. And if you don't believe me, you go ahead and you look at look at game dev Twitter and see how many people are like, I have 10 years of experience and I'm looking for a job. Slide into my DMs. That's the way things work now. So the more social interaction you can have, the better, so that when you send in your application, it's just basically getting rubber stamped by the 3 people that already know you in the company, to get you to the interview that you have to pass. But that would be, my number one recommendation.
Very much, gentlemen.
Hey man, anytime. Do you have any stuff that you want to shout out to the internet universe, like where you stream or your Twitter or anything like that?
Follow my Twitter at jlaughlin316. I post art and I have art commissions.
J Laughlin, that's how you say it. I've been saying your name wrong for 6 years. Thank you.
I've been telling you that it's been wrong for like 3 years now, and you just ignored me every time.
Well, it's not ignore. It's more like get distracted.
No, I straight up called you out on it, and I said I can't read. I'm just going to say it this way.
Oh no, yeah, that sounds like something I say. J Laughlin. See, but now I'm going to say it all the time. All you had to do is talk to me in person.
You see?
Oh my God. All right, man. Thank you. You have an awesome evening. Let's get the next caller. Bye, my man. This is fun, man. I like not having to manage all this stuff myself. This is great. All right. This is nostalgic.
Close.
Tell me again.
It's nostalgic.
Nostalgic. There it is.
Nostalgic.
I love it.
It's not nostalgic. People call me nostalgic all the time, and it's fun.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. What can we do for you, man?
Well, I'm gonna first. I wanted to say real quick, Guardian Con is the best convention I've ever been to.
Thank you.
I just want to say that.
Appreciate that.
Wait.
Beyond fantastic. Anyway, for Jez, right? Is that it? Jez?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should your content, so I don't really have a YouTube going, but should your content for YouTube, Well, yes, I'm sorry, GCX. I'm so sorry.
It does not matter. I do it all the time. I'm just shitting with you. Holy shit. Please don't feel bad.
I saw that. And I was just like, I was like, should I? Anyway, okay. So should your content on your YouTube channel? I don't have one going yet, but should it reflect like if you're a Twitch streamer? Should it always be reflective of that content, or can they be separate but meld? Does that make sense? This is a really hard to articulate my brain kind of question. But
no, I think I know what you mean. Yeah. Here's the thing. It has to be contextual to YouTube and it has to be good. Those are the most important factors. It can always lead back to your Twitch. You can literally cut up Twitch VODs. But yeah, it has to be contextualized for YouTube. Otherwise, it will definitely lose.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say. I mean, like, if the breakdown that we all just got to watch as Jez eviscerated my YouTube channel, no, like we just watched. Like, I think that 5 years ago you could sort of piecemeal and you don't have to dress it up. But I think that telling the story in context of whatever it is super important. That's what I learned today.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you got to nail the packaging. You have to hold people's attention. People are looking to click away at any second. So like you just have to make the best possible content you can that's going to keep people engaged.
I think that's more intimidating than being live. Honestly, like it feels more daunting. I don't know.
There's totally less control.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, especially for me, like when I go live, there is an element of, so like all I have to do is just sit here and just have fun and just play games. Like obviously way more goes into it than that. But like, yeah, as someone who's like trying to curate every second for YouTube, there is something relaxing about you just sit there and do the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can sneak one more in too.
You ask as many, you have our time. So as many questions as you need, it's going to help somebody.
I'm trying to keep it on point to the, on topic of the YouTube stuff. Sure. So you have all these awesome pieces of advice and, observations about Broman's channel. Should we all retroactively go back and modify all of our old thumbnails and all of our old videos to bring them up to snuff? Or is it only for like future content, like those rule sets that you apply?
Yeah, that's a really good, interesting question. I haven't thought about that in depth, but I think prioritize moving forward that you nail it. But you totally could also retroactively do it. Yeah, because as Ben was saying earlier, something could go viral at any time because YouTube is evergreen. So if you thought you had something really good that underperformed back in the day, and you're like, you know what, I want to give it a little bit extra, maybe it'll get picked up, then you totally could go back and fix the packaging for sure.
That's a great question. Like for me, I was like, no, that's dumb. And then I was like, but it would make sense to change the thumbnails on all of my popular uploads that everyone's going to see. Right? Like, all of my videos that have like 1 million views or 700,000 views or something, those are still gaining views after, all of 5 years. So repackaging those might make them perform better or lend them to resurgence because they're recontextualized. That's actually, I'm going to do that. It's super interesting. I'm going to do that with my top 10. I'm going to do that with my top 10 videos and I'm going to see if anything changes.
Is your editor here? I apologize in advance.
No, I mean, dude, listen, my editor is following instructions from me, who I admitted at the beginning of this is an idiot. So, yeah.
And that's smart as well, Ben, because if you have like a certain theme to your thumbnails, like a certain style that's recognizable, then moving forward, all your new stuff will have that. And then when YouTube wants to recommend that old stuff, it's going to pop even more to the viewer as being something from you that's recognizable. So I think that's really smart.
Damn. Smart. Very smart.
Good question. That's a logic question.
Thank you. And then, last one, just real quick about you had mentioned your attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Did you discover that when you were younger or older?
Yeah. So I got diagnosed with ADHD when I was 8. My mom is she has a master's degree in special education, so she was always kind of like up on the new like DSM stuff, right? And so ADD came out. It sort of matched my symptoms. We went and, saw a psychologist. I was sort of part of like the first group of kids to even like get the diagnosis, right? Like get this is a real thing. This isn't fake hyperactivity. Like this kid doesn't just need to get beat more. There's like a neurological deficit, and we can prove it because when he takes this medicine, he calms down. And if you give it to a normal kid, they're running up a wall. And that medicine would be Ritalin. So, so like as a kid, I got diagnosed. My parents were incredible. They went to bat with me with every single one of my elementary school teachers who didn't believe that what I had was real. So that was, I have incredible parents for that, but I got diagnosed when I was like, between 8 and 10. And then I was on medication until I turned, 19. And then I decided that I didn't like the way that it made me feel anymore. So I started learning methodology to cope with it myself. And that's been it's been a decades long process. I'm way better at it now than I was. But it's, it's just like a lot of making sure that I'm appropriately caffeinated and then, learning different ways to think through problems than like what normal people would do. Because if I try and do it the normal way, I go insane. But yeah, ADD has been a pretty big part of my life.
Okay. Yeah. I've begun to suspect as an adult that I've probably had it my whole life. And, so I'm going to have to start looking into resources. So
yeah, go get an official diagnosis. This is the number one thing that I tell anyone who's worried about having a psychological disorder. Because all of us, there's no such thing as like a default typical human brain, right? We're all neurologically diverse and different. And we all exhibit behaviors that land on the spectrum of a whole lot of different mental disorders, right? So it's important to go see a specialist because you want to get a diagnosis of exactly what you have instead of you guessing. And I'm not saying that that's what you were going to do, but I know a lot of people do that. They're like, oh, I've been feeling depressed a lot lately. I guess I have depression. And you really could, or you could just be going through a really, really shit time in your life. And things are ultra mega hard. And so you are depressed, but it's not clinical. And the doctor or the psychologist is the person who's going to be able to help get that answer for you and make sure you get the right answer. So that's my biggest recommendation.
Appreciate it. I'm actually going to do it. I had to wait until the year because of HSA and deductibles.
Sure. I was going to, I know all about that.
I've got to get the snip, and I got to get it's just a lot coming my way.
You getting a vasectomy? Is that what the snip is? Oh,
getting the snippy snip.
Ooh.
No more. Two's enough. So that's all I had to ask.
I love it.
I respect it.
Well, do you have anything that you want to let the fine people of the internet know? Like anywhere they can find you, any projects you're working on that you want to promote?
Right now I'm just on Twitch, twitch.tv/nostalgic. I was on Mixer. I was a Mixer partner, but I'm a transplant back over to Purple Club. So
I feel you, man. You gotta get in where you can fit in. I feel that.
Yep. So appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, man. You have an excellent night. And thank you. Thank you.
Well, all the best, Nostalgic. Thanks for the questions, bud.
Yep. Thank you.
We'll get on to our final person, born to be clutch. Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys doing today?
Wonderful.
Rock hard as always.
That's great. I just want to start off by saying that you guys have brought me a countless number of laughs, and I cannot thank you guys enough for what you guys do for the internet, Destiny community, and every other community. It's awesome. I appreciate you guys so much.
Wow. So sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, that's very nice.
All right. So I'm on the come up as a streamer, or I'm like trying to work my way into it. I'm getting a very late start. And I'm only on a single PC. I know I hear people talk about 2 PCs all the time. And I just wanted to ask for some experiences that you guys had on a single PC and how to maximize the value on a single PC setup.
Yeah. So
I don't know if you know this, but sorry to cut you off, Ben. Dado is using a single PC setup right now. So you can absolutely make it and do it at a high level with a single PC.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is great.
Yeah. so like when you start talking about moving from a singular PC setup to a 2 PC setup, the quality increase is marginal at best. And what I mean by that is like you might be taking if you have a decent single PC, right? Like if you have like an i9 like 9900 in that sumbitch, and then like a 2080 Ti or whatever. Like if you have a good rig, the improvement that you're going to get from basically duplicating that and using it as a streaming PC are going to be like marginal at best. Like your stream quality might go up 10 to 20% on like a graphical hardware enthusiast level. And I definitely, one of the things I want to make sure that I say is you definitely do not have to have that extra 10 to 20% to make people want to enjoy your content. The other thing that it does is it gives you some insulation against game crashes. So like, for example, if I was a single PC streamer and I was trying to stream Red Dead, I probably would never stream the game because that shit bricks your PC sometimes. So having 2 PCs allows your gaming PC to crash and your stream to stay online. So those are the 2 big improvements, right? And now that, I mean, and that advice might change if, you know, hardware bandwidth gets better and everybody upgrades, blah, blah, blah. But for now, I completely agree with Jez. You can stream off of one PC and it's great. I actually streamed off one PC for like 3.5, 4 years. When I started streaming, I had a singular monitor and I was speedrunning Borderlands 2 in windowed mode, 720p, 60, lowest graphics settings, window mode, and speedrunning off of that with my chat in the same window, with my chat on that monitor and OBS on that monitor. And that was my streaming setup.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Wow. That's incredible.
Played Borderlands 2 in a 720p window for a year and a half. So like, and the thing is, nobody who's watching knew that. Because what you are looking at is the template for your broadcast. Your broadcast allows you to select things that you want people to see. So your desktop can be a fucking mess of multiple windows or whatever. But as long as you can tolerate, you know, a messy desktop, which was hard for me to do, you can do a whole lot with a single PC and one monitor. You just kind of have to get creative.
Yeah, I understand what you mean about the Red Dead thing, because
Yes.
I tried streaming the Jedi Fallen Order.
Oof.
And I noticed just lag spikes galore, and I'm just like, well, I probably don't need to do this, but hey, let's do it again tomorrow. So I've tried it, and I just wanted to see, because it's one of those things. I watch so much Twitch, so much YouTube. I mean, YouTube are probably 2 of my top 5 that I watch.
You.
I mean, absolutely. So I hear you guys talk about double PCs all the time. So I just wanted to like see what you guys had done, if you guys had used that single PC setup, and what I could do. So I do really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
If you have the option to upgrade, and I think that this is my general advice, because you're going to upgrade your whole system in pieces. I mean, before I moved to a second PC off of that setup, I bought 2 more monitors first. Because like for the cost of like, and they were cheap as fuck. So like, you know, for the cost of, you know, I think I spent like $100 on each of them. It increased my capacity to create so much by giving me a larger canvas to select things from. You know, and I got the joy for the first time of playing the game in a full screen. I was like, oh my God, it's 1080p. It doesn't get any better than this. And now 1440p and like 144 FPS. And like, I'm like, this is shit if I can't, you know, get that frame rate.
Now you're literally in the game.
Yeah, I'm so spoiled. But yeah, I would definitely, my recommendation for anybody who's on a single PC is increase the canvas size by like getting more monitors or larger monitors, so you have more space to work with. And then once you feel like you really are orchestrating a show that can be brought to the next level by just taking the game out of the equation and putting it on another device, is the time when you should buy that second PC.
Right.
And one final resource for people as well. There's a really good YouTube channel called Alpha Gaming, and he has a bunch of videos where he's literally how to build a streaming PC for less than $600.
Yep.
And he shows you the specs, he shows you the settings, he literally shows you the parts. He's able to stream at 1080p, and he's able to game with the minimal frame drops. Technology is just so good now, so I'd recommend that resource for sure.
Yeah, things have improved drastically from a tech standpoint. Like I had a GTX 660 in my first streaming and gaming rig. Yep, GTX 660. So yeah. Do you have any? So yeah, thank you for your questions. Do you have any follow-ups?
Well, if you don't mind, if I plug my stream.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you to do that. If you don't have any follow-ups, so go right ahead.
I'm on twitch.tv/born to be clutch. I mainly play Destiny. Yeah, it's consumed my life. And I'm so grateful for the game because it's brought me to your guys' channels and videos and all of your other good work, as well as so many other great content creators. And that's really my biggest thing right now. But after tonight, I'm going to be hopefully working in some YouTube as well, and hopefully just figuring out the rest of my content creating. So I appreciate so much for you guys answering and helping me out. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I love that, man. Thank you.
Likewise. Yeah, all the best.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, all right. We got time for one more person, and then we'll wrap out here. If we want to do we have one more? Okay, looks like we might not. That's why we have vetting now, and I'm not used to that.
Yay! Vetted, idiot.
Yeah, and it's and I mean it's getting close to 8:00 anyway. So yeah, first of all, before we go any further, so I don't forget, I just want to say thank you so much to Jez for coming on and being so incredibly generous with some serious trade secrets. We just got some serious trade secret level information. Like Jez just taught me some stuff that it probably would have taken me like 100 or 300 hours to figure out on my own. So I just want to recognize that and say thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Do you have any projects or anything that you're working on that you want people to be talking about or be aware of?
Listen, if there's any ladies in the chat,
okay,
or guys that are interested in makeup,
nice.
My wife's YouTube channel, we work very hard on it. She actually edits the videos. She does her little makeup looks, but it's edited ultra chaotic like I would do. So it's very funny, very interesting. So that's Amy_Leisha, and that is my only plug.
That is you're so you're so nice. I love it. I absolutely love it. Do you, since I wanted to take a little bit of extra time, since you are from Australia and Australia is having a bit of a tough go right now, things are not awesome. Do you have anything that you want to say about that, or any charities that you want to direct people to, or literally anything you'd like to say about that? Because I have personally been looking for ways to help and feel a little bit as an American helpless. So I was hoping you might be a little bit more plugged in, and if you're not, that's fine. But I just wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, totally. There's a streamer / YouTuber house called Click. So it's called the Click House. They are currently doing like a 36-hour. They might have just got offline, but they were doing a 36-hour charity stream on their Twitter. They have a bunch of like really safe charity links towards the firefighters in Australia. So yeah, if you're looking for somewhere safe, definitely check out Click on either YouTube or Twitter. And they have
spell that one more time for me.
It's Click. The exact handle. If you just search Click, maybe Click out the Click Crew. Maybe let me check. Yes, it's the Click Crew on Twitter. They have a bunch of links. They've just raised several $100,000 over the past 2 days with a big charity stream. So they have a few good links there.
Cool. Can I donate and then send you a receipt and you send me some nudes?
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
you saw that, right? The chick that raised like $500,000 doing that.
Yeah. What an absolute boss.
Absolutely insane. I was literally like, fucking get it. Like, way to go. Like, hell yes. Now is
so I'll be doing feet pics for anyone that donates over $10. So just hit me up on Twitter and you can slide in the DMs.
I'll match that. I'll send you a picture of my nasty ass feet if you want, chat. Her last count was $700,000, chat.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so Loser Fruit is the Australian YouTuber. She's kind of heading it up.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I have seen clips of the stuff that she's been involved. So she's part of that crew that's doing that.
Yes.
Okay. So definitely go check that out. And if you are like me and you were looking for a place to go help, now we all have one. So I will plug Jez since he's being so unbelievably respectful. Please, if you have the opportunity, go follow Jez on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Th3Jez, but the E in the first E is a 3. So it's Th3Jez.
Huge mistake.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. So you can follow, and it's Th3Jez pretty much everywhere, right? Yeah. YouTube, Merch, Teespring, all that good stuff. If you're looking for high quality, hilarious YouTube content, that is the place to go. I am Professor Broman. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. For everybody, if you want to catch this live, you can go to twitch.tv/raredrop. We do this every Monday. We start either at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Once my life is less crazy, we'll nail down an actual start time every week. That'll be great for everyone, including myself. So if you want to come catch us live, you can do that. If you want to tune in and ask a question, you go to discord.gg/broman and hang out. And hopefully we'll have enough time to get to your question. We might not always. And as always, the last thing I want to leave you with is thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And if you got anything out of this episode at all, or if you thought of somebody while we were talking, please take the time right now to text the episode to somebody and just say, hey, I think that you would love to hear this, because the reason we do this is to make everyone's life better. And the best way to do that is for you to share it. So thank you so much to Jez. Thank you to everyone for watching. And this will be the end of the audio recording right now. So thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.